Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Bodhisattva. If this is your first time here, I want you to know that this is not a traditional tarot channel. We are not here to focus only on whether someone will come back, text you, choose you, or commit to you. Here, we use tarot as a tool for deeper self awareness, healing, emotional understanding, and soul growth. Because sometimes the real question is not why does this keep happening to me? The deeper question is why do I keep attracting the same experience in different forms? So today's reading is for anyone who has ever found themselves saying, why does every relationship end up feeling the same? Of course, the faces are changing, the facts are changing, but the feelings are the same. Why do I keep meeting emotionally unavailable people? Why do I attract people who don't value me? Why do I keep repeating the same heartbreak with different faces? If that sounds familiar, this reading may have found you for a reason. Today, we are not investigating another person. We are investigating the pattern within ourselves. We will explore the emotional wound behind it, the lesson your soul may be trying to learn, and what healing becomes available once you begin seeing the pattern very clearly. As always, this reading is timeless. If this resonates, take what feels aligned. If it doesn't, trust your intuition and allow this message to pass. I'm already saying that if you're not interested in such readings, you are more than welcome to move on to any other video. This is very much focused on those people who want to understand themselves and want to gain certain perspective about yourself or ourself. So, if you're interested in such readings, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel because, as it says, it is not a traditional tarot reading channel. It is more of understanding and connecting with yourself. So, if you're interested to know, learn, and understand more about yourself, please subscribe and be part of this family. Now, take a deep breath. Place your hands on your heart and let's begin today's soul investigation. Before you, there are three doors. Each door carries a different message. Each door reveals a different pattern. There is no right or wrong choice. Don't choose with logic, choose with the feeling. Which door feels familiar? Which door sparks curiosity? Which door feels like it may hold a truth you have been avoiding? Trust your first instinct. Trust what calls to you. Door number one, door number two, door number three. I will give you a few moments to reconnect. If you want, you can pause at this point before we move forward. Okay, if you have chosen door number one, this is the card, and we are going to start the reading. Now, the people who have chosen for door number one, this is the spreading I have here for you guys, which is going to explain why do you keep attracting the same type of person. It's a beautiful spread. Have patience with me. Now, when I look generally in this pile, what I can see here is that the energy doesn't feel like someone attracting bad people. It feels like someone repeatedly attracting emotionally unavailable, confusing, or difficult to read people, because there is a deeper lesson around self trust and emotional security. So let's see, what kind of a person do you attract? It's a very fascinating because these cards are almost contradicting each other. Okay, so Eight of Wands is showing that things can start very quickly. There is chemistry, there is excitement, attraction, probably very intense conversations, or a feeling that something is finally happening. So it is showing that you get into the relationship very, very fast before you even completely know what's happening. Then the hermit appears. When the relationship gets a little intense, the person suddenly becomes little distant, unavailable, probably withdrawn, or it kind of turns in a way that it is difficult to understand or even emotionally isolated. So you feel, you started feeling a little confused over there, you know. As I said, the relationship starts so intensely and you really think this is it. But suddenly you feel confused around this person because you don't know what this person is thinking. Then, of course, comes the moon, confusion, mixed signals, uncertainty, um, never knowing where do you stand. So many of you, this pattern looks like strong beginnings, deeper attraction, very intense emotional connection, followed by a withdrawal, some sort of you feeling that you're not being seen enough, and then confusions. So you may keep attracting people who are themselves searching for answers, people who carry emotional baggage, probably from very on a past experiences or past relationships, people who are disconnected from their own emotions. So this is what the first part is showing, that why the question like what type of a person do you attract is giving you this clarification. So the problem is not that these people are bad. The problem is that they often cannot offer emotional clarity or certainty because they themselves don't have it. Okay, let's move into the next question. Why does this pattern feel familiar? Which means you may most of the time feel that this is what happens in my relationship. So we've got the cards here: Five of Cups, the World, and Three of Pentacles. So Five of Cups, Five of Cups immediately speaks about disappointment, not necessarily major trauma, but repeated emotional disappointments, moments where you hoped for more, moments where you expected for more, needed more, but did not receive it. The world tells me this pattern has become a part of your emotional blueprint. It's almost as if your subconscious recognizes disappointment as a familiar territory. And then we have Three of Pentacles. This card is giving me the message that I need to earn love. I need to prove my worth. I need to work harder. I need to show them I'm enough. Some of you may have learned very early that love was connected to performance. That means it doesn't come very easy to me. I do really have to struggle to get the love in my life, which means trying to be good, being helpful, being responsible, being useful, being the strong one. Probably you're the one in the family who has quite a bit of responsibility of taking care of um, things in your family as well. From a very young age, you may felt responsible, could be the reason. So when someone becomes emotionally unavailable, part of you immediately starts working harder to receive what should have been given so freely, because you believe that unless and until I don't put that extra effort and that struggle, I will not receive love. Now let's see what emotional wound is sustaining this pattern. I have the card the Emperor, Two of Pentacles, and Four of Swords. This is basically the heart of the reading, which is showing you what is your emotional wound where you are attracting similar pattern or similar kind of people in your life. The wound here feels connected to emotional abandonment, not necessarily physical abandonment. Please be very careful. I'm talking about emotional abandonment. The emperor can represent authority figures like a father energy. Probably he was physically available, but he may not have been emotionally very nurturing towards you. Strict environment. Probably while growing up, you may experience that emotional rigidity. The father would have been not so expressive in love, or even growing up around people who valued strength more than emotional, which means always asking you, demanding you to be in a certain way rather than it was a free flowing, easy life. And the reason I can see more is towards from your father figure or somebody who was elderly in the family who was very authoritative. The Five of Pentacles shows the pain while growing up. What you were sensing in this is I felt alone, I felt unsupported. As its core, it is saying that, I felt unseen, I felt emotionally left outside. A lot of time you didn't feel emotionally supported while growing up. It was always more of standing alone and fighting your own battles while your mind, your heart was craving for that support and love and that small hug. And the Four of Swords tells me many of you stopped even asking after some time of, sorry, after certain point of time, you literally stopped asking, stopped expressing, stopped expecting, and you started learning or you learned how to survive emotionally by all yourself. And the survival wasn't the same as feeling loved. And what I keep hearing is if I don't need anything, nobody can disappoint me. That belief may have protected you once. So you stop expecting anything from people, but deep down, you always felt I needed a support. But if I'm going to expect it, I will be disappointed. So you stop asking for it. But now it attracts people who give the bare minimum emotionally. What lessons in these patterns are trying to teach you? Let's see what is that the lessons you have to really see. The cards are High Priestess, Judgment, and the Fool. So the High Priestess is telling me your soul is trying to teach you self trust. This card is telling you, you already know. Your intuition already sees the red flags. Your intuition already knows when something feels off. But many times you ignore it or you deny it. Now, what's the fool telling you? It's telling you to trust yourself enough to take a new path, a different choice, a different standard, a different response. And the power is within you. You can take this decision. You can really make that choice to give that support, that nourishment, that nurturing towards yourself. And you really need to move by taking a different choice. Choose differently. And the judgment, it is telling you, wake up, see the pattern, recognize it. Because once you see it, you are no longer trapped inside it. The lesson isn't about finding the perfect partner. The lesson is learning to trust your inner voice before your longing. So, this is something telling you it's time for you to look around. So, so the cards are literally telling you it's time, stop looking around. Please start looking within yourself and take a different direction by understanding yourself. Now, let's see what happens if you continue repeating this pattern. I have here Queen of Swords and Strength. Interestingly, the cards are not showing disaster, they are showing exhaustion. Strength is someone who is holding things together, constantly being patient, constantly understanding, constantly giving people the benefit of doubt, holding together. And Queen of Swords is telling you enough. Eventually, this cycle will make you emotionally guarded, more cautious, more detached, more protective. Not because you're cold, but because you're tired. So, what happens if you heal this wound? Look at this beautiful card. The Hanged Man, Four of Wands, and the Lovers. This is where the entire reading changes. The Hanged Man says your perspective changes first. You will stop asking, how do I make them love me? What a question. Beautiful. Instead, you will start asking, does this connection actually align with what I deserve? That changes everything. Now, the Four of Wands says emotional stability. You will feel safe, you will feel peace, you will feel secured. Wow, I just love this combination. And the Lovers, isn't it simply romance? It's conscious choice, choosing differently, choosing healthier, choosing from self worth rather than fear. For many of you, the healing is not about attracting someone new. The healing is becoming someone who no longer entertains what once felt similar or familiar. Let us see your soul message from this entire spread. Your soul keeps bringing this lesson back not because you are failing, it keeps bringing it back because you're finally ready to outgrow it. The pattern was never the relationship, the pattern was the belief beneath the relationship. And the moment you begin trusting yourself more than your fear of being alone, the entire cycle begins to change. So, this is the doorway your soul is asking you to walk through and telling you don't hold on to a connection because you feel that you will be alone. Isn't it amazing? Lovely reading. Thank you guys. This is for the people who have chose door number 1. I will also give you a romantic angels oracle reading card, and let's see what the beautiful romantic angels wants to tell you guys. Think of the person, think of your relationship as of now. Once you heal, what happens? Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So release what it is not required, change your pattern, understand your wounds. So understand and release what is not required. Have that faith, take that leap of faith and do the proper healing. If you need any help in clearing, releasing, healing, please send me a mail. My details will be given on the comment section as a pinned comment, or you can find it in the description box as well. You can visit my website to find more details, and definitely I'll be more than happy to help you to come into an alignment. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. My beautiful souls who has chosen door number 2. This All right, my beautiful souls who chose door number two, let's take a deeper look into your pattern. As I started laying these cards out, I immediately felt a different energy from door number one. Door number one was carrying abandonment, wounds. Now, door number two feels more connected to illusion, potential, and too much of idealization. This feels like a group that often sees the best in people. The challenge is that sometimes you see who people could become rather than who they are right now. So let us explore, why do you keep attracting same kind of or same type of people? King of Swords, Three of Wands, and Nine of Cups. This is interesting because on the surface, these people look very attractive. They often are very intelligent, successful, ambitious, independent, probably very goal oriented, or even very charismatic. So these are not usually people who struggle to attract attention. In fact, many of them appear to have their lives together. They got everything what they want. Now the King of Swords especially gives me someone who is emotionally very controlled, very logical, very rational, um, very good at communicating ideas, but not always good at expressing feelings. So emotionally kind of little not so open or expressive. But now the Three of Wands tells me these individuals are often looking towards the future. Probably they are very ambitious, they're building something, chasing something, focused on the next goal, the next achievement, the next opportunity. Then we have Nine of Cups. These people often know how exactly what they want for themselves. The problem, sometimes they become too focused on their own desires that they struggle to create that emotional give and take. So I do see a person who is very logical, very action oriented, very career oriented, very goal oriented, very focused, but they lack the emotional expressions. I keep hearing they know what they want, but they are not always considering what you need. So, so what I see here is that they're very clear about what they want in their life, but at the same time, they are lacking or knowing what you truly want. Now, why does this pattern feels very familiar? Because the cards we got are Page of Cups, the High Priestess, and Five of Swords. This feels very subconscious. Now, the Page of Cups is a dreamer, a romantic, someone who believes in possibilities, someone who wants to see beauty in every people. So sweet of them. They will only see the goodness in others. And honestly, that's not a flaw. That's not at all a problem. It is one of your gift that you can see the beauty in others. But then the high priestess says something important. Your intuition usually knows the truth much earlier than you admit to yourself. You do feel things. You know something is off. You sense something. You pick up on inconsistencies. But because sorry, but because of Page of Cups wants to believe, you sometimes dismiss what your intuition is trying to show you. Then comes Five of Swords. This card feels like self betrayal. Not betrayal from others, it is self betrayal. Feeling something is off, knowing something isn't right, but continuing anyway because you're hoping for a different outcome. You will feel, oh, this person will change, or I can change this person with my love. And one day he is going to realize my worth and he is going to give me that emotional fulfillment, what I am desiring from himself, because he's a good man. For many of you, this pattern feels familiar because you have spent a long time prioritizing others' potential over reality. Can, may, someday, hope, you know. This is what you kept going in this connection. What emotional wound is sustaining in this pattern? This section really hit me very deeply. The wound doesn't actually feel like a heartbreak, it feels like disappointment. There is a difference between heartbreak and disappointment. The Ten of Swords tells me that there was a moment in your life where something emotionally significant ended in a way you didn't expect. A trust was broken, a hope was shattered, a dream that you really thought that it will happen, it didn't happen. And what happened afterward is Knight of Cups. You started creating fantasies, you started imagining how things could be, you started building emotional stories around future possibilities. And Two of Cups says what you truly desire is genuine emotional connection. You're not asking for perfection, you're asking for partnership. You're asking for mutual effort. You're asking for someone who chooses you as much as you chose them. So the wound here is saying, if I love enough, believe enough, hope enough, maybe this connection will become what I need to be. It's all based on hope. You're not looking at the realities, you're more of living in hope, possibilities, and probabilities. That's what you're focusing on. What lesson is this pattern trying to teach you? So we have Queen of Swords, the Star, and Seven of Swords. The Queen of Swords has entered because your soul is asking you to balance your heart with discernment, not cynicism. It is more of discernment. There is a difference. We got Star here. Now, what is Star saying? It is telling you keep your hope, keep your faith, keep your beautiful heart. But at the same time, the Seven of Swords is saying stop ignoring reality. Stop justifying red flags. Stop making excuses for a behavior that consistently hurts you. Some of you are being asked to learn I can remain loving without ignoring my standards. That feels like the entire lesson. You can remain loving, but don't lower yourself. Don't dim your light. Don't shrink yourself to fit into somebody else's frame. Now, what happens if you continue repeating this pattern? We have Page of Pentacles and the Moon card. Definitely, it is not showing any sort of a catastrophe. They are showing confusion. The moon definitely creates uncertainty, mixed signals, emotional fog, constant questioning, kind of wondering where do you stand in the relationship, sometimes even wondering what they mean, sometimes questioning what is really happening. And the Page of Pentacles is saying the progress becomes very slow. You keep investing, you keep giving, you keep sacrificing, and you keep hoping, and you keep waiting for something to become clearer. But clarity never fully arrives because the foundation was never solid to begin with. What happens when you heal this wound? Let's see. This is beautiful because healing starts with awareness. This is interesting because this healing doesn't happen the way most people think it will. Many people imagine healing means becoming more open, more trusting, and more willing to give. But for this pile, healing actually begins with recognizing where you have been giving too much of yourself away. The Eight of Swords tells me that the first thing you heal is your mindset. You start seeing that the beliefs that have been keeping you trapped, beliefs like maybe I need to be more patient, maybe I'm expecting too much, maybe I if I love harder they will understand, maybe if I keep showing up they will eventually choose me. And suddenly something shifts. You realize that you had more power than you thought. You realize that the door was never locked. You were simply standing inside a story that no longer served you. Then we move into Queen of Cups. This is your healed energy. You don't become cold, you don't become guarded, you don't become aloof, you don't stop loving. In fact, you become even more compassionate. But this compassion finally includes yourself. You start listening to your emotions instead of dismissing them. You start trusting your intention instead of questioning it. You stop trying to rescue people who aren't ready to rescue themselves. So the Queen of Cups knows that love is meant to flow both ways. You will start valuing yourself. And then comes the Four of Pentacles. This card often gets a bad reputation, but here it feels healthy. This is boundaries. This is self respect. This is no longer handing you, sorry, this is no longer handing over your heart to anyone who shows interest. You are no longer emotionally available for everyone. You are emotionally available to the people who have earned access to you. There is a difference. What I keep hearing for this pile is my energy is valuable, my heart is valuable, my time is valuable. And because of that realization, you become much more selective about who gets close to you, not from fear, from wisdom. So, door number two, your healing is not about learning how to love more. You already know how to love. Your healing is about learning how to protect your heart without closing it. It's about understanding that boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are acts of self love. The moment you stop giving everyone unlimited access to your energy, you begin creating space for the people who are genuinely capable of meeting you where you are. And that is when your relationships begin to change. This ending actually fits the entire pile beautifully because the core wound wasn't a lack of love, it was repeatedly investing hope and emotional energy into possibility and potential. The healed version of this pile still loves deeply, but now loves with discernment, with awareness. Before we close today's reading, I want to remind you that awareness is the first step, but awareness alone does not always create transformation. Sometimes we can clearly see the pattern, we can understand where it comes from, we can even recognize how it is affecting our lives, but we may still find ourselves repeating it. That is where deeper healing work becomes important. So, if today's reading has helped you recognize a wound, an emotional pattern, a relationship cycle, or a part of yourself that is asking for healing, know that you do not have to navigate that journey alone. Through Bodhisattva, I offer healing sessions, spiritual guidance, inner child healing, subconscious exploration, and transformational work designed to help you move beyond the patterns that keep repeating in your life. So, if you feel called to work with me on a deeper level, you can find more information through my website and explore the services that feel aligned with your journey. And if your soul is simply asking you to reflect on today's message, that is perfectly enough to trust your own timing, trust your own path. Before moving, I would like to give you the romantic angel's message. So think of the person or a relationship you have in your mind and let us see what the angels have a message for you. And I would like to call it more of like a healed version of yours, what the angels would love to tell you. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So, if you really want to know what is that you're lacking in your life and you want to bring romance into your life, it is telling you, the angels are telling you, stay optimistic. Thank you for sharing this space with me. If this reading resonated with you, I would love to hear your experience in the comments below. So, thank you for sharing this space with me. Door number two. Thank you. Okay, so guys, All right, my beautiful souls who chose door number three, welcome to your reading. As I look at your cards, I immediately feel that this group carries a beautiful heart, a very hopeful spirit. But what your soul wants to show you today is not necessarily about the people you have attracted, it is about the pattern underneath those connections. So let's begin. The first question is like, what kind of person do you keep attracting? The first thing I notice is that you tend to attract people who appear exciting, very charismatic, confident, and full of possibilities. The sun gives them a very magnetic quality. People notice them, people are very attracted to them, you are attracted to them. But beneath that energy, I see the Five of Wands and Seven of Cups. These people often carry some sort of inner conflict and uncertainty. They may not always know what they want. They may have multiple options. They may struggle with commitment. Or they may enjoy the excitement of connection more than the responsibility of maintaining it. What I keep hearing is they like possibilities more than decisions. So you may be experiencing commitment issues with them. For some of you, this could be even people who say all the right things, create that hope, create that excitement, create the chemistry, but struggle when the relationship requires consistency and emotional maturity. Now, in your life, why does this pattern feels familiar? This is deeply connected to patience. You are someone who is willing to invest. You are someone who is willing to wait. You are someone who sees growth where others might walk away. There is beautiful quality here, so you don't give up easily. But sometimes that strength becomes a trap because you keep believing maybe with more time, maybe after they heal, maybe after they figure out things, maybe after they become ready. So you give a lot of time and patience for them to grow. And before you realize it, you have spent months or years waiting for potential to become reality. This pattern feels familiar because somewhere along the way, waiting became associated with love. Now, why this pattern is sustaining? What is the emotional wound is creating this pattern? This is where things become very clear. The Page of Cups shows an incredibly open heart, a very hopeful heart, a romantic heart, a heart that genuinely wants to believe in people. The Eight of Wands tells me that you become emotionally invested very quickly. Not because you're careless, because you feel so deeply, you connect very deeply, you become excited about possibilities, and then the Tower appears. This tells me that there have been repeated experiences where reality suddenly shattered an expectation. A sudden ending, a betrayal, or a cheating, a disappointment, a realization. A moment where you thought something was becoming one thing, you just discovered that it was something completely different. So the wound here says, if I love enough, maybe this time the ending will be different. What lesson is this pattern trying to teach you? This is a lesson about self worth. The Queen of Cups says, love yourself emotionally, listen to your feelings, trust your intuition. Self love, so important for you guys. You have a heart to love everybody or the person who are in your life, but you don't give that love to yourself. Queen of Pentacles says, value yourself practically, protect your energy, protect your time, protect your heart, value yourself. First, prioritize yourself. Then we have Five of Pentacles. This is the wound beneath everything, the fear of not being chosen, the fear of being left behind, the fear of being forgotten, or even the fear of not being enough. So your soul is asking, what if your worth was never dependent on someone else's ability to see it? That feels like the healing key for this door. You should ask a question to yourself. My worth, is it dependent on somebody else's view, how they see me? Now, what happens if you continue repeating this pattern? This is fascinating because the cards are not showing punishment, though, they are showing repetition. You will continue attracting opportunities for love. You will continue meeting people. You will continue feeling hopeful. But the lessons keep returning in different forms. Different faces, same wound, different stories, same lesson, until the root pattern is healed. What happens when you heal this pattern? Look at this. So powerful. The Page of Wands says you become lighter, you become more playful, you become more curious. You stop approaching every connection as if it must be my future. You will start to enjoy the present moment. You will start living in that moment rather than thinking about the future. Because Three of Cups brings joy, friendship, community, and genuine support. You begin surrounding yourself with people who celebrate you rather than confuse you. Your support system is going to be amazing. And then the devil appears. Many people fear this card. I don't. Because in this position, the devil is actually representing awareness. You finally see the unconscious patterns that once controlled your choices. You see the attachment, you see the emotional habit, you see the dynamics you have normalized in your life. And because you can see them clearly, once you do the healing, you're no longer being trapped by them. That's freedom. So, door number three, your pattern is not that you love too much. Your pattern is that you often give your hope permission to speak louder than your intuition. You live in the probabilities and possibilities again. Your heart sees the possibility, your soul sees the truth, and your healing begins when you learn to honor both. You're not here to convince people to choose you, you're here to prove your worth. You're not here to You're not here to wait for someone to become ready. You're here to remember your value before anyone else confirms it. And if today's soul investigation has helped you recognize a pattern that you are ready to heal, know that awareness is the only first step. Sometimes we understand the wound but still need support in releasing it. If you feel called to go deeper into your healing journey, whether through inner child healing, subconscious exploration, spiritual guidance, past life regression, or transformational healing work, I would be honored to walk along. You can explore all my offerings through the links in the description and visit my website to find the service that feels most aligned with your soul's current journey. And if today is simply a day of reflection for you, trust that too. Healing happens in its own divine timing. Before I leave, let me give you a romantic angel oracle card message. Let's see what your angels needs to tell you. You can think of a situation or a person at this moment. Close your eyes, think deeply, and let's see what the angels has a message for you. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. No secrecy. Be open. Remember, the soul whispers before life starts shouting. So may you have the courage to listen. Thank you for allowing me to hold the space for you today. May you have the courage to listen. Until next time, take care of your heart, your healing, and your soul. Namaste.